think it's important to acknowledge that as women, we hold many different roles in society. And the expectation of them, is to be a wife, a mother, an employee. And often this means that career development is not the primary measure of success, and that demands of the various roles require that actually we operate in a more flexible work environment.
And then I think also what I've just said around having an environment where there is flexibility. So if you want to start a family, it's not seen as a drawback, but it's embraced. If you need flexible work time, and this goes for women as well as men, but I do think it still plays out more directly within a female's reality, is not feeling like you're having to make those trade-off decisions. If I reflect on the exit interviews that were done on all women leaving the organization, especially the senior women that's left, that is probably the one area that gets cited most, is I feel like I can't do both. And I feel that is where the flexible work arrangements and just thinking more creatively about role descriptions and role design will really drive a change.
What I would love to see happen, and maybe it already does in larger organisations, is organisations thinking a bit more innovatively about how to keep women engaged and on their career path through the more challenging periods of family responsibilities. I do think that there's an opportunity to help women. Often we've got women who are in their 30s with young children, or maybe even with elderly parents that they're having to look after, where that juggling becomes really hard. And I'm sure we can be more creative about the part-time opportunities that there might be, that, for example, might take a technically qualified woman into a corporate or commercial arena and give her the opportunity to develop some experience there that will unquestionably help her later on if she has aspirations to go for more senior roles, or even C-suite roles where a broader skill set and broader experience base is really needed.
If we continue to give women opportunities within the mining sector, and if a woman isn't being better supported, not only in the sector, but outside, in her personal life, we'll continue to overly burden women to play multiple roles that societies, demand of them. So I'm calling for a broader conversation, that there can be a shift with all relevant stakeholders and how the role of women are changing. And then within the industry, outside of, what I spoke about, policies, etc., enabling her, I think there's a lot we can do to adapt our policies, etc., to the phase in which a woman is. It's not a one-size-fits-all approach. When you're a young woman, you're probably still studying, you need a certain type of support. And you go on, to get married or have a family, you need a different kind of support. And I think there's something there about, retrofitting the woman's needs based on her life cycle within the company and a career to how companies can better support her.